Ladies and gentlemen, Friday afternoon, Morgan Lerette, Blackwater dude, author, Guns, Girls, and Greed, Blackwater Mercenary, in the house with Hard to Kill. How we doing, Morgan?
Oh, just great. Thanks for having me on, man. Appreciate
Of
it.
course, of course. I appreciate you taking the time, man. So I stumbled across you on Drinking Bros. Love their stuff. I saw you. I think you did a couple over there, right?
Yeah, I did Drinking Bros. I did.
So yeah, Drinking Bros. Tell me about it.
Man, I always thought I was going to get on Drinking Bros one day, and I couldn't actually get a hold of them. They're such a pain in the ass to get a hold of them. But when the book came out, my agent was like, "Oh, I've been on Drinking Bros," so he got me hooked up with Drinking Bros, Citizens Podcast, Mic
Yep.
Drop. So I did a couple of the big ones for a bit, and then I had to, I don't know, dude. You know how hard it is to try to sell a book to a bunch of people that don't want to sit down and read a book?
Oh, I'm
It's
sure.
like, yeah, it's like selling ketchup to somebody in their wedding dress. Like it's a pain in the ass.
Well, not only that, dude, anything selling to like this demographic's tough, dude. I mean, everyone's a critic, everyone wants to critique everything. I mean, so how was the rollout, dude? Did you do well with it?
Yeah, I mean, the trick is not how much you sell. Well, unless you're Hunter Biden, your book comes out, you're like, yeah, I snorted a bunch of Parmesan cheese, and then
Fucking guy.
rich people buy it. It's all about like it's the slow burn. It's like chlamydia, right? Just slow
Of course,
burn.
of course.
So
So what first off, what made you want to write the book in the first place? Is it just the experience in general, or is that something you always wanted to do?
No, dude, I never wanted to write a book. The book's actually been a huge pain in the ass, to be honest with you. But
I'm sure.
like I would tell people stories and they'd be like, "No way, dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely not." And then finally I got bored one day and Eric Prince has his book out and Jeremy Skakel has his book out about Blackwater. And dude, I kept seeing the stuff online that was like, "You guys were over there, uh, you know,
Murdering and
murdering
purging.
babies."
Yeah,
Yeah, and then
exactly.
oh yes, child sex trafficking. And I was like, you know
Oh
what,
my
dude,
God.
nobody's written a book about like what it was like on the ground, you know? And dude, I hate stories that are written by like military generals.
Of
You know,
course.
once
Of
once you make
course.
major, you're kind of a turd in my book, right?
Exactly,
So
exactly. Yep, of course, of course. So for my listeners, for people that aren't already, accustomed to you and haven't seen you, just give me a little background, and just tell me who you are, bro.
yeah, so I grew up in small town USA, man. 1999, graduated high school. I was like the recruiter's wet dream. I was like the poor kid that didn't know what he was doing. So every
Sign him up.
recruiter was at my house. Yeah. Pre 9/11. So like it was not,
Okay,
they were like, dude, oh yeah, we got to go into those poor white kids' houses and get them
of
out to do the
course.
pre-ASVAB.
Yep.
And then my grandfather's World War II vet, and he's like, dude, if
Okay,
you're gonna join the military, join the Air Force. They have the best food. That's
for
literally,
sure.
dude, like the most I thought about it was that.
That's
Because I was talking to the
hilarious.
Marine Corps guys, and I was like, dude, these guys are the coolest guys. Like, kill people and blow shit up. And then
Yep.
my grandpa's like, but the food's better than the Air Force. And I was like, good enough for me, man. So I joined the Air National Guard.
Okay.
Got activated after September 11th. My pager went off while I was in like my sociology 102 class.
Pager. Look at
I
that,
know
bringing it back.
that's how cool it was, man. And then, dude, they activated us for 2 straight years, and we just like young single Air Force guy. I was like, dude, send me anywhere. So I just
Yeah, of
deployed.
course.
I went one after another. While I was in the Air National Guard, I met a bunch of like Force Recon Marines. They got out there were like, we want some college money. That's why I joined.
Degenerates.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, dude, but like the coolest guys ever. They were like, dude, you're
Of course.
like, why'd you join the Air Force? And I was like, better food. And they were like, actually, that's pretty good.
Solid.
So, dude, I ended up going into Iraq in 2003 during the ground offensive.
Okay.
Mop gear, do straight mop gear,
Yep.
like fuck, dude, it's so fucking
How
hot.
uncomfortable was that, dude? You must
Oh,
have been just
dude.
a bag of sweat in that thing, dude.
Dude, look, everybody talks shit about mop gear, and it was miserable to be in. But when all you're eating is MREs,
Oh
like
God.
you could blast farts in that thing, and nobody would smell it. Like, dude, all the charcoal, like that's the way they get the chemicals to not like go into your body and kill you. And it also sucks farts in, dude, and just like kills them on
Oh
the
man,
spot.
so bad.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then, dude, at night you take your mop gear off and you're sitting there in our little tent and like you fart and everybody's like, oh my God, dude, we're all gonna die.
yes.
So, dude, after the ground offensive, it was just kind of like, what the hell am I going to do with my life? That was '03. And then my buddy's like, I'm going to go work for Blackwater. And I got to remember, dude, Blackwater, like, had just been hanged off a bridge in Fallujah. This was like March '04. My
What year?
buddy's,
Oh four. Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
He's like, let's go work for Blackwater. I was like, dude, I'm not like a tier one dude. They wouldn't even take me. And he's like, I'll put in a good word for you. And then he went to go work for Blackwater. Didn't think I'd ever hear from him again. I get a call from the recruiter and they're like, hey, do you want to come work for Blackwater? And I was like, not really. No, not really. And they were like,
Bunch
how
of bad
about for,
stories.
yeah, they're like, how about for $550 a day? And I was like, yeah, I do. I
Say
actually really
less.
want to. Yeah. 23-year-old white trash kid. Let's
You
roll, man.
sign me up.
Yeah. So, dude, I worked for Blackwater for like 18 months. That's what the
Well,
whole book's
hold on, slow
about.
down real quick, dude, because just being a Marine, we've heard all the stories about Blackwater, dude, and honestly, y'all were doing it first, man. Y'all got y'all were over there at a time where it was kinetic, and you guys were, from the stories that we were told, you know what I'm saying? You guys were getting some sexy contracts. You guys were getting some sexy gigs over there, man. What was it like to just be in Blackwater at that time? Did you even realize that it would be like that, or did you just get kind of thrown into the mix and was just watching it as it went by?
No, dude, I was like the guy at the zoo watching the monkeys fuck, right? Like that was just me. I was just like sitting there staring at like what the hell am I doing? So Blackwater started off, they protected Bremer in Iraq.
Yep.
And then you had the four guys that got killed. That was a DoD contract. And then the Department of State contract came up, and that's what I was on. And dude, nobody even knew what Blackwater was except for the Fallujah incident, right? Like nobody knew
Real
what we
quick, what
did.
exactly happened with that again? Refresh my memory.
Oh, dude. Well, okay, so there four dudes in a Southend vehicle that worked for Blackwater drove into Fallujah and got ambushed and ended up getting killed. And then
Gotcha.
they got burned to death. Well, they
Gotcha.
were already killed, but then they
They
burned
made
them.
a
Then
show about
they
it.
hung them off of the bridge. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, okay, got it. Okay.
So it was
I
like,
mean, are you guys all talking about that though? I mean, it's one of your own, dude. Are you taking that like you would take it as like if it was a Marine that went, you taking it, for real? Obviously, you'd have to.
well, dude, it happened before I got over to
Gotcha.
Blackwater, but most of it was like, why the fuck were there four people in a soft skin
Right?
vehicle going into Fallujah? You know, like something I would love to know what actually happened because, dude, none of that makes sense, right? You never roll out with one vehicle. You never roll out with four people in soft skin. You either
Obviously.
took, yeah, like you took a wrong turn, but it still doesn't make sense because your whole convoy, your three vehicle
Yeah.
convoy would have taken it.
Yeah.
So,
All
dude,
sketchy
yeah. So something's doinked up with that, but
for sure.
um, dude, that's all anybody knew about Blackwater. It was just like those guys got hanged off a bridge, and then everybody, was on the Blackwater bandwagon. They were
Yeah, of
like,
course.
"Oh man, they killed the U.S. citizens," and the Marines had to go in and take
Yep.
Fallujah. Then they
Yep.
stopped, and they took Fallujah again,
Yep.
October '04. Um, so yeah, dude. I mean, like, it was everything that you loved about the military and nothing that you hated, right? It was
Really.
efficient. Yeah, it was like, dude, you're gonna go over, you're gonna run this principle from point A to point B. We're leaving at 10 a.m. Get your ass in the vehicle. We're literally stepping on the gas at 10 a.m. Nobody's like checking your ammo. Nobody's making sure you have water. None of the bullshit where you spend like 3, 4, 5 hours like
Hurry up and
preparing
wait
for something.
bullshit. Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
So
dude,
they
it's
cut out the
just
bullshit like that. That makes so it's common
yeah.
sense. Gotcha. Okay.
And then afterwards, dude, you just got to go to the pool and get fucked up.
So it's
Like,
really just you guys taking care of each other. It's on you, to take care of yourself and do your damn thing. And you're cutting out like that fucking intermediary bullshit that, fucks with everyone and it's everyone, that everyone gripes about the military. So it's really kind of like an operator's dream.
it is, except that if anything happens, it's just you and like the
Sketchy.
12 dudes, right?
Gotcha.
Like there's no air support, there's no con in big army, there's no coordination. I remember I was the lead driver coming out of the green zone. I took a left to kind of skirt the north part of the green zone, and then you have to take a right to start going north to avoid Haifa Street. And we
Okay.
pop up on this big army convoy, and I'm like, "Ooh, friends!" And this guy fucking takes his 240 Bravo and points it at us, and is like, and I was like, "No, dude, we got the VS-17 panel, like the little
Of
orange
course.
panel that you put on
Yeah,
top.
yeah.
No, that's us. No, hold on, dude, don't do it." So dude, there was no coordination. I had no idea they were there. They had no idea I was going anywhere, and we'd be like, "Those fucking assholes."
Of course.
Like, come on, dude.
Of
What
course.
are they supposed to do, man?
I hear you. So what is your position in all of this, dude? You were just a driver and you're doing convoy ops mounted?
No, dude. So the cool part is with Blackwater, you go in and you can prove yourself. You can do whatever the fuck you want, right?
That's
Like
awesome.
I went in as an Air Force guy. I get to training. There's like Navy SEALs. You got your Rangers, and I know you Marines are like, yeah, those Rangers are just infantry Marines, but some of them are high speed.
Of course.
You got your pararescue guys, your CCT, like you name it, dude. It's like the best of the best, and like even some of the guys from Black Hawk Down worked for Blackwater when I was there. Like
Really?
Hoot worked for
No
Blackwater.
shit.
Yeah, so you got like legitimate tier one operators,
Solid
and then you
guys.
guys got me, like just stupid ass Morgan, redneck from Cottonwood. So the dude I went to training, he just shut the fuck up, right? Like training's not hard. You shoot, you move, you communicate, you do a PT test, and here's the big one, dude. You have to actually get a security clearance. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. A lot of people they were like, I think I want to work for Blackwater, aren't right in the head, which means that them trying to get a security clearance is not the
Problem.
easiest thing. Yeah. So, dude, and you know, put this in perspective, right? '04, you have almost nobody that had been in Afghanistan. We only had 15,000 troops in Afghanistan. Iraq had just barely kicked off. You were still on OEF-1 or whatever we called it, OIF-1. So all these guys that were like former cool guys were out and about, and they hadn't been shooting, they hadn't been doing anything. We lost a lot of people on the range. We lost a lot of people on the PT test.
Stupid shit. Gotcha.
Yeah, just like, the
Rusty. Yep.
basic. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was shocked. And it's like, hey, this guy's like a former Army Ranger, and you look over and he's like, my weapon is not zeroed. And the guy gets behind it, puts like 3 rounds right into the target and goes, your weapon's fine, man. Sit down and do
Like
this. And
that.
yeah,
Damn.
yeah. And then he's
Okay.
gone, dude.
Well, now just from like my experience briefly in the contracting world, dude, I'm realizing egos is a huge thing, dude. Is that something you saw at Blackwater, or was it just cohesive? I mean, was that stuff kind of
No,
like
dude.
frowned upon and they got weeded out?
No, no, dude. Egos are like the biggest problem that you run
Gotcha.
into,
Okay.
right? Like, dude, it's like prison rules. So the first person that you meet when you're in Iraq or Blackwater at the training is the person that doesn't have any fucking friends. You don't want to
Facts.
be his friend either.
Facts.
Don't talk to that guy, right? And then the other prison rule is, dude, you find the biggest guy at Blackwater, you
Yep.
take him out in the yard, and you just suck his dick, and it's not that
Yep.
big of a deal.
Facts.
Like, yeah. No, but like most of the dudes are just like they're just cool guys, and if you're
Yeah.
willing to learn, they're cool
Yeah.
guys.
Humble yourself a
But
little bit. Pay attention.
yeah,
Don't act like a prick. Yeah. Okay. I got you.
but dude, there's always those guys that are gonna come in and be like, "Oh, I was in the like we had a guy from the
There I
Israeli
was,
army.
balls
Oh
deep.
yeah, I supported special operations,
Oh
which
yeah.
means like you're the turd. We know
Yeah.
it. You were the guy that like cooked
On
the
the
mashed
outer cordon.
potatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so
But
I mean, dude, if you came in and you were cool, like they were cool, but if you came in with any kind of an attitude,
yeah,
or you'd be shocked how many people came in and just lied through their teeth about what they did. And then
really.
somebody else comes in and they're like, "Oh yeah, were you with him? Because you're saying same unit, same time." Like, dude, it was just. And then everybody's trying to fuck everybody, everything, dude. It's like a basketball game, right? You go to the pool, you're drinking beer. There's this KBR girl. She's 400 pounds, but you don't care, dude. You're just gonna roll her
Not a
around and
problem.
yeah, roll her around in flour and put your wiener where the wet spot is, right? Like,
So
um,
true.
so and then like people are fist fighting over these ugly chicks. Like it
Dumb shit.
yeah, dude, it's everything from every military unit that you've ever seen, but hyper competitive on top of it, dude. It's
Gotcha.
crazy.
what's the like the chain of command like, dude? Is it broken down by like platoon sergeants, squad
Fuck no.
leaders, and stuff like
No,
that?
dude.
Gotcha.
No, dude. It's nothing. So that's what kind of to your point or your question earlier, like what did you do? So you pretty much had a team leader. When I got there, I was the young Air Force kid. I was 23. So first thing they did is made me a window licker, which is just sitting there with a door. You crack the
Uh-huh.
door open, you point your gun.
Yep.
The second job was like, hey, this guy, like I'm like a savant when it comes to memorizing routes.
Gotcha.
So they put me in the lead vehicle and it
Yep.
was it was map recon going out there. Dude, we
Yep.
didn't have GPS, Blue Force tracker, none of that horse
You're
shit.
going off maps.
Oh yeah, dude, straight up maps. And the you never knew when there was a car bomb the night before where it was. So you had to have like 3 to 4 different routes, first, primary, secondary, tertiary, like
Are
so
you
I was a
dealing with
driver.
IEDs at this point, or is it just VBIDs?
No, dude, it was both. So
Gotcha.
VBIEDs and then EFPs had just kind of hit the scene. So, and then of course, small arms fire, all the other
Yep.
bullshit that comes with it. Um, so I was a driver for a bit. Next thing I know, I'm a tactical commander. So I'm the second in charge of this group. I'm like second guy in charge. One, because I knew all the routes and they were like, hey, this guy will get us to the right spot.
It's
And
important.
then two, like, like a lot of people were just there because they were like, I want to make my money. I don't want to be in charge of anything. I didn't
Gotcha.
either, but
You
but
had to be
by
dependable to be in a position like that, bro.
yeah, well, dude, by the end of it, I'm like running a team. I'm 24 years old, 25, 24, and I'm running a team, former SEALs, former, like you name it. And it's like 24-year-old Morgan. But dude, I was like the salty veteran for Blackwater, right? Like I'd been
Mhm.
there since the start. It's just nutty, dude. So you could do any job you wanted. But a lot of the people that volunteered, same thing like you were saying, like to be team leaders, were these old sergeant majors and these
Oh
shitheads
Jesus.
they,
Oh
yeah,
God.
they wanted to be, oh, we got to do an AAR and 3 ups and three. And it was like, no, dude, we fucking
That's
fired
not
those
here.
guys.
We don't do
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Some dudes can't get out of that mindset, dude, and they don't understand that it makes the energy just bad, and no one wants to do that in that situation. Like it needs to be cohesive, and you just gotta be you and just get along. You don't have to bring that type of shit in. Some dudes can't get out of that mindset, dude, and I see it in the contracting world, and it's hurtful to look at. It's like, bro, come on.
Yeah. Like, dude, we're glad that you stayed in for 20,
Yeah, yeah.
but shut the fuck up.
This is the fourth time you told me your resume.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to wear I mean, you had those one people that were like, I was special forces and it turns out they were just infantry guys, which nobody cared except that you lied. And then you had the
Yeah,
other guys that are
exactly.
like retired sergeant majors that were like, no, everybody just be here an hour and a half early and we're gonna like pretend like we're in vehicles and and it's like, dude, knock that shit off. Like
Shut
that's
up.
why we're big boys, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, so what would you say was like the highs and lows for you over there, dude? I mean, were you dealing with kinetics like every day? Or was it like more of just like does it come with the summer and end with the seasons type deal? Or what was it like over there at that time?
Dude, it was luck of the draw, right? And it's the same thing for the military. Like we had a convoy that got blown up by an IED. But if it's just you, like our QRF went out there and dragged them in. Um, but I don't know, dude. I never personalized anything, right? Because it's not like the military where you get shot at, you you stop, you dismount, you fucking move to contact,
So
right? Like
fine. You
like
get the fuck out
you
of there.
you're gone,
Yeah.
dude. It's shoot
Yeah.
and scoot. It's
Yeah.
like it's straight up Ron Jeremy porn, dude. Like you get
Yep.
in there, 45 minutes in, dude, you shoot, you're gone.
To
Um,
me, to me, that's the smart play, dude. Why are we sticking around in a place we don't know, going after someone that's in their own hood? We're walking into something. I never understood that, man. Like, I've always preached push out of the kill zone, get the fuck out of here. We don't know where it's coming from. Let's get the fuck out of here.
yeah, dude, and we didn't get paid for what we did, right? We got paid for what we might have to do, right? You might have to
Yeah.
die for some
Yeah.
dipshit that you don't know, that you don't care
Exactly.
about, that's building the country that nobody gives a shit about. Okay,
Yeah. That
so
narrative.
yeah, well, the whole Blackwater thing. I'm gonna get serious for a second.
Go ahead.
The Blackwater stuff happened because when we went into Iraq, we didn't want to be seen as occupiers. So we
Facts.
we did their whole like interim government. And then we said, now we're going to be here if you want us to. But now it's a diplomatic mission, right? You guys
Yeah.
own the country. Now we're in a diplomatic mission. when we fired the Bath Party, everybody's like, oh, we got rid of the entire army. Dude, that wasn't the problem. I mean, it was because we were fighting the insurgencies, but the problem was anybody that ran any part of the government was part of the Bath Party.
Always corrupt. Yeah.
Landing planes, picking up garbage, setting a schedule. Like, hey guys, on Friday we're gonna go and we're gonna actually like just street sweepers. We're gonna do that shit. Nobody knew how to do that. So
Really.
they sent in the State Department and said, we're going to train you guys how to run a government. And then when they sent in state, they said, well, who's going to protect these guys? And the State Department guys were like, we don't have anybody that can actually protect them. So Blackwater was there. It's like, I got a bunch of dudes. They can go over there. They can protect them. We get them point A to point B. That was our whole job, right? Now, how did we do that job? Violently, dude. I mean,
The only way.
everybody, yeah, everybody's like, oh, we were hearts and minds. Bullshit, dude. Like half my videos are on YouTube. Yeah, there was no hearts and minds right there. So dude, we just controlled the streets, right? Like we had a Humvee, had a big old bumper on it. You get in front of us, we're gonna smash your car up. We're gonna push
Yep.
you into a light pole. We're gonna like you get the fuck out of our way because we have an
If you
important
don't,
person and I
yeah,
don't want to die. Like, let's
exactly.
roll.
Smart play. So, Afghan was my thing, dude. And when we kind of did the same thing. So when I was over there, I got tasked with instituting Afghan highway patrol, Afghan police, and Afghan army and new patrol bases that we built up. And we teach them how to go on patrol and take care of their area. And we'd set them, to basically be the sheriff of their AO. And, these guys were just not capable. And we're watching them tell, in the news, like, these guys are so good to go. They're going to be ready to take over the country. Like, no, we're not. And it's kind of similar to that narrative that, like you just said. So by the time that, we're getting out, like, I just have this shitty feeling that we didn't really accomplish anything. And then lo and behold, you see what just happened at, the airport. I mean, it just leaves a bad feeling in your stomach. I mean, you probably weren't that invested being with Blackwater, but I mean, did you have similar feelings that like something that you just instituted is going to fall apart right after you leave?
Oh, dude, I knew we were fucked. Like, I went in as an enlisted guy, right, during the ground offensive. Then I was there for Blackwater. I got to see like the back office, like how are we building this country? And then I went back over there as an Army intel officer in '09 and 10. And
Oh
I was like,
wow.
dude, this thing's fucked. Like
Yeah,
you
go
just
fuck.
knew because project management 101 is a project is defined by a start point and an end point. And once that end
Absolutely.
point is met, you're done. We never had an end point, and you
Facts.
could just
Facts.
see it. So I would sit there and be like, dude, it doesn't matter what we do, these guys are gonna fight each other when we
Yeah,
leave.
exactly.
So make your fucking money. Like, dude, like
Facts.
that's why I put Mercenary on the cover. People are like, oh, we were there for the State Department. Dude, I was there for the fucking money, bro.
Yep.
Like that was it. And a lot of people, there was a number of people that lost their lives and kind of got stuck in that contractor cycle.
Yep.
But at
Yep.
the end of the day, like I don't give a fuck about Iraq. Like
None of us did.
yeah, and it wouldn't have mattered if we did because we didn't. Let's take Afghanistan, right? We got to get rid of Al Qaeda, and then it was like, well, the Taliban are shooting at us, we may as well shoot back.
Yep.
And then after that, it was like, well, what about little girls that need to learn how to read? And what about the schools? And what
Because
about
that's
that?
our
Like
job. Yeah.
we kept moving like what
The
success looked
mission
like to the
was. Yeah,
point
exactly.
that
Yep.
nobody knew what the mission was, right?
I mean, let's be real. Is that just the military industrial complex staying active? Is that what they're doing with that? Or is that just, you know, them not having a clear directive from the leadership? I mean,
Oh, dude, it's both, but I think a lot of it is politics, right? Like
sure.
at the end of the day, we got into wars without an actual goal.
Yeah.
And if they would have said, look, once we topple Saddam Hussein, we're going to be there for 2 years. We'll give them everything we can, and then we got to go. It would have been exactly the same, except we spent 10 years. Like it wouldn't have mattered. So what you have is you have politicians and you have generals that are essentially politicians, and they go through this process of like restricting what you can and cannot do and not having an end state, right? World War II, hey, we got rid of Hitler, we took over
Facts.
Japan, we're
Yep.
donezo.
Yep.
We go into Vietnam and they're like, To
Same
fight
thing. Yeah,
communism.
exactly. Yeah.
The fights, like, dude, once you put like an ambiguous in state,
Yep.
you're never going to reach it because you can always change it. And then the
Absolutely.
politicians are like, no, you can't load your 249 ammo until like you've been shot at. And you're like, dude, what the fuck? Like
Till you're being
this.
engaged. Yeah.
Well, yeah, dude, this is my argument is that I don't know that it's the military's fault as much as it is like the stupidity of these wars and not
Of course.
defining them first.
Of course.
Because, dude, the Marines kicked ass, right? Fallujah, Ramadi, you guys kicked ass. Like, there's every quantifiable way, every number shows us that we won over there. But at the end of the day, we didn't win because we didn't know what the fuck our goal was.
Exactly. Exactly. What really it was, I mean, yes, we did kick ass and we did accomplish in that year what we were trying to do, but it wasn't maintained. It wasn't. It was left under weak leadership. It wasn't staffed the way it needed to be, and it fell apart. And that's something that you need to stay on. And just seeing how this administration has done this like back alley deal with the Taliban, how they're literally paying them millions of dollars, billions of dollars a week. Is that how it's always been, dude? Like, have we just not seen it? Is that's what it's made me feel like, man.
Dude, I mean, we could sit here and we can blame the military industrial complex. And dude, there are a lot of people up there that are pushing the button saying, yeah, like, think about this, dude. I was throwing grenades in like 2001, or shooting ammunition in 2001 that was probably 20, 30 years old. Now, dude, you can't make a bullet fast enough to where it's not being expended. And dude, the people that make bullets are like, this is awesome,
Yeah,
right? I
facts.
get to make more bullets. I get to make more money. But at the same time, I do think that there's just this stupidity and all these backdoor deals that have been
Yeah,
made are coming to the surface. Here's what pisses me off about Afghanistan is that the media was like, "Oh, the Taliban's coming," which means we had military assets that saw them. Had intel. We
we
knew
were
they were
aware.
coming,
Yeah,
and then we were like, "That's all right. They're coming to be our friends." Like we should
yeah,
have bombed the shit out of them.
facts.
Like, but then instead we're like, well, now we're going to try to placate you. I think it's $80 million a week, over $1 billion a year that we're giving these people to do what? Like, it's not like they're keeping Al Qaeda out. I think there's 32. Like last I heard, there was like over 30 new training camps for Al
Oh
Qaeda
my god.
in Afghanistan. Like we think throwing money at a problem is going to help it, but dude, I have thrown a lot of money at strippers, and I've never made it to the champagne room, dude.
What
This
the
is what I'm
fuck?
saying. Yeah.
Well, I mean, not to completely change the subject on you, but what do you being that I mean, you were early Iraq and you saw how it started and where it came to a head. Look at how it is now, man. What do you think about the current situation? We have two major conflicts going on right now. I mean, Ukraine and Russia, to me, I think I can't even tell who's at the winning stage or not. But I mean, Russia has a lot more people, I would think. But I mean, then we have Israel and Palestine, and look how warfare has just became, you know, to a point where drones are dropping munitions on people. Like it's basically trench warfare with modernized weapons, and it's just crazy that we're literally watching it. Some on Instagram they're posting, I think, beers and battles or something like that. They'll post the Ukraine clips, and it's insane to watch what it's became. I mean, what does that say for warfare going forward, man?
Dude, have you seen the video where it's like this Russian soldier that's looking at this drone and he starts pointing at the other guy? He's like,
Yeah,
go drop it on
yeah,
him,
I
dude.
saw
Like, dude,
that.
what the dude? War has become quite the clip consumable
Video game.
TikTok.
Yeah, no, I know.
Um,
I know.
dude, we're gonna look back if we haven't already, we're gonna look back and we're gonna say the biggest fuck up we did was get rid of Saddam Hussein in the Middle
I,
East.
I say that too, man. And I agree with you
Yeah.
completely. Was it
So
just because he was the power horse? He was like just how you said he was controlling everything. I mean,
no, dude. So you have Iran on one side, right? Saddam fought Iran from 1980 to 1988 for the Iran-Iraq border conflict, and then on the other side you have Saudi Arabia. So you have Sunnis on one side, which is Iran, Shias on the other.
shoes.
They
Yep,
fucking hate each other, dude. They've hated each
facts.
other since Muhammad died, right?
Yep.
In the middle, was Saddam Hussein, who had Sunnis and Shias both, and he just ruled with an iron fist. Dude, he didn't
Gotcha.
give a fuck if you were a Sunni or a Shia. I mean,
Facts.
yeah, he hated the Shias because he was a Sunni and he was the
Yeah,
minority, but like he kept it in check. As soon as we got rid of Saddam Hussein,
you're
what
right.
does Iran start doing, right? Iran
Yeah, you're
starts
right.
like funding all these proxy wars. Now you have Syria, you have fuck, where was Gaddafi when he got knifed in his butthole, dude? It's like the
Oh yeah,
African nation,
I
not
forget.
Lebanon, Libya.
Libya. Yep.
You have all these places that are just in absolute tumult. And like I honestly, like at this point, I think Saddam kept a lot of that stuff away because
I
he was
agree.
just like, look, I don't care if you're Sunni, Shia, Kurdish, like I hate all your guys' guts and I'm just gonna fucking slaughter you.
Facts.
Uh,
Didn't
so
discriminate.
now, yeah, dude. So now you have like, your Hamas and Hezbollah that is being funded by Iran, who's being funded by the US, who's being like, dude, it's absolutely insane. And there's no power broker in the Middle East where everybody's like, that guy's crazy. Like, let's just not mess with him.
Yeah, you're right.
That was Saddam.
Like straight cowboys and Indians right now. You're right. There's no like power horse that's just like controlling. Exactly. Just like Saddam. You're right. You're right. We basically guys like that buck against the United States. We take them out. We put our new leader in that doesn't, and that's honestly what you get.
Yeah, can you honestly tell me that Iran would be able to have shot all those rockets over at Israel through Iraqi airspace if Saddam was there? Dude, not never, dude. Absolutely never. Because Saddam would have been like, dude, don't piss off Israel. You're gonna piss off the US. And second off, if you get my airspace, I'm gonna shoot shit at you. Like,
Yeah.
bring it on, man. So
I don't know,
it,
dude.
it's a
Go ahead.
shit show. It's just I mean, it's terrible. We spent all that money, you
I
know,
know.
we lost so many people, and now it's like Iraq loves Iran, and we like
It's
we
just
dude, we're idiots.
I can't even tell like who's on what side anymore. I mean, like when you actually look at everything, it's such a mind fuck. It's you really don't know who's proxying what or who's really behind what. Like I started looking at the whole, Israel and Palestine thing, and I'm thinking to myself, if this Iron Dome is so awesome, how the fuck did these guys come through in hang gliders? You know what I'm saying? And no one could stop them or see anything. No one knew that was coming. I don't know, man.
They
I
came
guess
in on hot air balloons with
yeah, we had
with
no idea.
water balloons full of rubbing alcohol. Like,
Yeah.
no, dude, yeah, that is kind of insane. Here's what
So
I'll tell you the day I figured out Iraq was fucked, dude, was when I was with Blackwater. So we had this police station up in Kirkuk, and the only thing we had to do to get sign off on this police station was they had to have toilets and they had to have sinks, right?
okay.
So we went in there, dude. We put in all the toilets, all the sinks, dude. We leave there that night. They steal everything. We go back.
They
There's
always do that
supposed to be
shit,
an
dude.
inspection. Yeah, dude, there's supposed to be an inspection, dude. And the State Department guy is like, dude, I'm doing something for Iraq, right? Like, I'm really doing it,
Got
right?
pumped
Like,
up behind it. Yeah.
yeah, dude, he's a do-gooder. Now, we finally, dude, and it takes like what, 6 weeks to get new toilets and crap. We
Yeah.
go in there, we get them all installed. They get stolen again. Another
Same
six
thing.
weeks, dude.
Same thing.
We're literally sitting there before the shitters get installed, and the guy's like, hey, if you guys want to move into this police station, literally it's yours. You can have it. You can steal everything you want afterwards. All we need is
Just
toilets and
need to,
sinks
yeah.
in here. These guys shit in holes. Why they needed good toilets,
Facts.
I have no idea.
Facts.
But then this dude, like, everybody's arguing, oh, it was not me. I didn't steal it. The police chief's
Yeah.
like, not my guys. Dude, so we go in there, we install it, dude. The next day, we're like, okay, let's just get this inspection done. Everything's stolen again. And I was like,
Are you that quickly? Jesus.
dude,
Yeah. Of
everybody in Iraq was out for themselves.
course.
And dude, there's no like, you and me will say, yeah, we're American. And then you'll say, yeah, I'm of filthy Irish descent. And I'll say, yeah, me too, but I shave so you can't see the red. Um, right. But we start with American, dude. They start with like, this is my sect or this is my tribe
No, I
or this
know.
is
I
my,
know.
like, I have to have exactly what I can get because I don't know when I'm going to get it again. What are you going to do
Yeah.
with a shitter, dude, when you
Yeah,
shit
no
in a
shit.
hole? Like, who are you going to sell that to? It's like stealing
You'd
a
be
car
surprised over there,
radio.
dude. I
Like you
hear
steal a
you.
car radio, and dude, the only person you can sell to is the person you stole it out of their car. You don't fucking need a car radio anymore. Same
Serious.
thing with shitters, dude.
So we were in a very similar situation. We were on two main highways or roads, and they would always get blown up. And of course, we would get money someone had the bright idea to get a bag full of cash and pay an Afghan contractor to fix the roads. And then he would take half of that money, give it to the Taliban to keep blowing them up. And we stayed in that same cycle. You know what I mean? And it's like they know that we're just going to keep dishing out money, so they just try to fuck us on every. I don't know if you've ever sat in a shura, like when the village elders come and they say, we need a cow, we need this, if you guys want to be able to do this. That's what they just have their hand in the pocket and they just keep taking whatever they can get, man.
Which is good on them. The guy's
Yeah,
like, dude,
seriously.
I need a goat. And they're like, you fucked your last goat to death. And dude, I remember I was
It
in
happens.
northern Iraq, and we go into this vet. We adopted this dog. We go into this vet, and I write about it in the book, but we go into this vet and this guy's like sewing this goat's asshole up. And I was
Oh
like,
no, stop it.
no, dude, he is. He's like, dude, I got a picture of it. And so I was
Take
like,
a picture.
well, I know why he sewed the goat's asshole up. Somebody fucked it. And dude, these guys read the book, and I was talking to them later, and I was like, no, that's legit. Like, you can go on YouTube and you can watch these guys fuck goats, fuck
Yeah,
horses,
it's true. It's
fuck
true.
donkeys,
It's
all.
fucked up.
And then it's like, I thought you were just like making a joke in the book, and I was like,
No,
no,
no.
dude. Like, that's how fucked up and backwoods this thing is. It's like Deliverance, except all the goats run screaming.
Yeah. Dude, honestly, like we saw a bunch of like over in Afghanistan, like young boys would become that shy boy and they would literally get passed around over there, dude. I mean, they say it's their culture. I don't know about that, but it's fucked up to see that, man. It's just openly done too. And I don't know, man.
Oh, dude, man love. Dude, I've tried to explain this to people, especially I went to a really liberal school after I got out of the army. I went to Tufts University, and I'm trying to explain man love Thursday, right? Like that's when you go out, you essentially rape a little boy, but then on
Yeah,
Friday's like the day of repentance. It's like every Thursday's Mardi Gras, right? So like there, oh no, that doesn't, no, that's not it. And I was like, no, I'm telling you, dude, like this
that's
is supposedly like you ignore this because it's their culture, and yet. Like the news didn't tell you. The news didn't be like, oh yeah, and then 3 Chai boys today died. Like, fuck, dude. It's just it's and so I mean, if we want to get back to the more salient point of it, like how do you go into a place like that where they fuck goats and they fuck little boys and they say, let's make them democratic? Like,
yeah.
dude, it's a bridge too far.
Like there's no way someone was like seriously thinking that that would work, or someone just took advantage of a do-gooder, like you said. You know what I'm saying? And they manipulated it because that would never work over there. It was never gonna work. So I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I
but
get
we get these fun stories out of it, like Man
Yeah, we
Love
do. We
Thursday, and
do. We do. So what would you say? I don't know. I mean, we all have our, moto stories, but what would you say was like the precipice of you being over at Blackwater? What was your like I don't know, defining moment, but what was that moment that, you fucking shit out your fucking stomach for a little bit and didn't think you were gonna make it? Because I have a couple, but I'm sure you do too.
yeah, dude. Well, the first time I actually like had to take my selector switch off of safe and like go hot. There's this car coming up on us. VBIDs are all the rage, dude. So it's like, and of course it's like, okay, be on the lookout. Here's your Bolo report, and it's a white and orange car. Which, dude, if you were ever in Baghdad, every car is like white and orange. It's like
Facts.
they're
Facts.
taxis, right?
Yeah, I know.
So this guy's screaming up on the elevated highway. He's going like probably 60, 70 miles an hour. We're getting on the elevated highway and he's just not stopping, right? And we're doing everything. If you've ever had to drive in Baghdad, it's like, dude, it's like driving in Boston, right? Everybody
Facts.
honks. So
Yeah.
so nobody actually knows who you're honking at. Everybody's pissed
Hmm.
off, flipping the finger, dude. Like everybody just ignores you. And like this guy just keeps coming and I flip it off and I'm like trying to give him the time to slow down. He's not slowing down. And I just start like everything slows down. Like
Yeah.
trying to
Facts.
trying to
You're right.
explain to people how this works. Like your mind is going faster than reality and your body is
I know
reacting
exactly what you're
faster.
talking about.
Yeah. So like I'm watching my bullets skip in front of the car, then I'm watching bullets starting going into the grill, and then they're moving up towards the windshield. And then we turn and I can't see him anymore. And my top gunner's lighting him up. And I was like as soon as we turned and I couldn't see that car, everything just like went straight back to reality. Like
Yep.
everything was like back in
Snap
normal
back on.
motion.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I probably put 7 rounds in, but I was like, I'm doing a combat reload. So I dropped my mag, dude, put in another one. I was
Nice.
like, yeah.
Did you feel good?
Yeah. And my gunner's up on top, dude, and he's like slapping at me. And I'm thinking he's seeing something that I'm not. Like I got a bad shoot. And I get back there and I was like, Mikey, what the fuck, dude? And he's like, oh no, I was just slapping you on the shoulder saying, good shooting, dude. I was watching your rounds hit.
Wait, so you were outside the window shooting back?
Yeah, well, I was like out, like you pop your head out the window like a Labrador, right? And then I'm out like shooting back behind the vehicle. And then as we finally turn, right, he comes out of my field of view, so I can't see anymore. But
Gotcha.
yeah, you
Gotcha.
pop out, and I mean my shoulder and almost everything's still in the windshield, but yeah,
Yep.
you
Yep.
pop out. But dude, that was the crazy thing about Blackwater. We didn't button up our windows on the Humvee. Like we just ran with our windows down until we hit that tunnel just outside of northern Baghdad, right outside of the
Uh-huh.
green zone.
Yep.
We would always like pop our windows up and our gunner would sit down. So if an IED went off, like it wouldn't blow his brains
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then as soon as we went out, dude, windows down, you're on your way, man.
Gotcha. What do you guys usually running for your gunners? You guys got 240s?
Yeah, we had a 240 on the follow vehicle. The lead vehicle, we usually just keep well, they would have either a 249 or a 240 Bravo mounted if they want. I mean, this is the cool thing you kind of pick, right?
That's
Um,
sick.
but most of the time, like your M4 is exactly what you want is a lead gunner in the turret, right? Because you're trying to fuck off traffic with one hand, you
Yep.
don't want both. So, and then the middle vehicle was always medical vehicles were always like the Suburbans because that's who we were protecting.
Yep.
And then, everybody just had an M4 249, like the snub nose
Yep.
249s. Um, that was the biggest caliber we could get, like
Gotcha.
legally was the 240 Bravo.
Did you ever just see, I don't know if this was just Afghanistan, dude, but how civilians would react to you guys. And when I say that, like anytime that we were like gonna get into like a kinetic situation, dude, they would disappear. It would just like busy bazaars would be empty, and you would almost see it like happening. Like you would come into a busy area, someone would be watching, standing out, hit the cell phone, call his cousin, that would notify a looker, the kites would fly or something like that. And it made me think that like just everyone over there was Taliban, because I was a gunner for a while and I would be seeing all this shit, and the way that it would progress was just wild. I don't know if it was similar in Iraq, but
Well, so for Blackwater, it wasn't only because we had no coordination, like I was saying earlier. It's not like we ran the same routes at the same time on the same days. Like we were always all over the place. So,
smart.
usually for those types of attacks, right, they know that there's going to be a
Yeah,
convoy that's coming in,
yeah,
kind of in this time frame and be able
yep.
to warn people. For us, it wasn't. But what was shocking to me is like so we would get out of the Humvee and we would start walking in front of it to fuck off traffic, right? So we'd be stopped on our way of traffic. We'd go cross traffic, start
Played
walking
it.
over a bridge.
Yep.
Yeah. And then like, dude, I'm sitting there with like my rifle and people are just looking at me like it's normal having a fucking like M4
They're
pointed in their face.
desensitized to it, dude, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, like move over, move over. And then if they don't move over, I'm like, all right, dude. And then, oh, okay, this guy's a little bit serious. Um, and then as soon as you get that car over, the car behind it's like, Allah has created a path for me so that I might drive faster. The next car is like screaming up, and it's like, dude, I'm gonna shoot you, dude. Like, this is insane. Like, it's scary enough that I'm out here, but I don't want to be run over by you. Like, it just everything about it was just so fucking weird. But then
You
again,
know,
like it's shooting scoop, man.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I didn't really understand how the Taliban was so different than like civilians that would consider themselves like good Muslims, because they're so extreme. They're killing people, they're slaughtering people. And the way they described it to me, the way the Taliban would perceive the Quran, they just viewed it in an extreme manner and kind of like subbed their own rules into it and shit. Or I mean, that's the only thing that would make sense, because everything the Taliban does is against their religion, but apparently they're the ones that follow the most strict religion and they're extremists to a certain degree. I never really understood that, how they could be so hypocritical of something that they're so serious about, bro.
And dude, none of the dude, okay. I'm gonna offend you here because I know you were an altar boy. I know you took shots in the mouth underneath the fucking altar. It's not a big deal, dude. I'm not judging.
Oh
Um,
shit, that's
but dude,
funny.
the Catholic Church did this for years, right? Like they
Facts.
did not
You're
print the
right.
Bible, and then that's how it became where if you had enough money, you could go and you could do penance and you would
So
still make it to
ridiculous. You're so
heaven.
right. You're so right.
And it's the same shit with the Taliban. Those guys, like the ones that can actually read it, are saying, "Oh, this is the interpretation," and everybody else is like, "Yeah, sounds good to me." It's a bunch of fucking squiggly lines and shit, right? It's
Get the
like me
chai
trying to
boy.
read the Quran. Yeah, get the
Yeah, I
chai
know.
boy. So dude, it is sad, but at
Yeah.
the same time, it's like, maybe they need who
They
the
have
hell
to
was
have
this?
a civil war or something, dude. If there's really like a separate demographic that's like that, and there's actually, because honestly, dude, I did meet a few good people over there, to be real. And it seems like but listen, if that's the case, they can't. You're not going to be able to depend on us coming over there to save you. No one's coming to save you. Like you're gonna have to riot and kill these people and win your land for yourselves. And it seems like they haven't done that yet. Because let's be real, dude. I mean, look how it was over there. They're back at least 60 to 80 years, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, well, dude, and nobody, nobody wants to die for their country when nobody gives a fuck about their country, right? Like at the end of the day, there's no. I remember we were in northern Iraq, and this guy, he was an interpreter for the State Department. His family got persecuted under Saddam, and he's like, we're having a feast after Ramadan. I want you guys to come down here. And I was like, dude, I don't care. I'm just drinking beer. And my team leader, to his credit, was like, get your ass down here and eat some food, like everybody else. We're gonna have a moment. And this guy gets up there and he's talking. He's like, my family was killed, and me and my immediate family were able to get to America, and I wanted to come back and interpret for the State Department. Thank you guys so much for everything that you do. And I'm already half drunk. And there's this fish on the fucking table, dude, with its eyeballs like still in. And it's like that fish from The Simpsons, right? The
oh,
three-eyed
that's
fish.
hilarious. I know exactly
Like,
what you're talking
dude,
about.
I'm like sitting there staring at this fish, and this guy's like crying and shit. And I was like, this is a very touching moment, but that motherfucking fish won't stop staring at me, and I want to be
It's
done with
freaking me
this.
out.
Like, let
Yeah.
me just drink some beer. But like, dude, it would take people like him that actually want to come back, except he might actually have to pick up a gun and do some shit. But dude, nobody
Yeah.
wants to do that. They
No, you're
Why
right.
would they?
Exactly. They depend, right? Really, they just depend on a country to come in, do it for them, and they just try to rape and pillage their resources, you know?
Well, dude, when all you need is a goat, a chai boy, and like a
You
hut to
see
put
it,
your
you see their
17 family
toothbrushes.
members in.
You see their toothbrushes. They'd always have a chai cup on them in their robe and these like bone toothbrushes, bro. And I swear they definitely wipe their hands with their ass. Just a strange culture, honestly. Very strange.
Dude, I had this turd on deck. It was, well, dude, if you didn't get dysentery, so like the first three,
Oh no, I
four,
got dysentery, bro.
yeah, the first three, four chapters of the book's a lot of dysentery. So when you're reading it, like you're gonna get some waffle stomp stories where I actually
That's
shit in the
funny.
shower and have to stomp that turd down. But like I went on this flyaway mission, and like I'm getting ready to take a dump, and I'm like crapping in this little hole. I got my body armor on,
So
like my
bad.
legs are shaking, right?
Oh, it's no
And
good.
like I take a dump and I look over and I'm like, dude, where's the teepee? And all you have is like this little hose and a flower pot, like the watering flower pot.
Oh man, ghetto
And
bidet.
I was like, dude, I can't do this. So I go back down there, and my buddy, and he's like, what they do is they pour water in their left hand, and they just like, and they get up in there. And I was like, not me, motherfucker. Open up one
Not
of those
me.
MREs, give me some of that toilet
Yep.
paper.
Yep.
And then, like I go up there, I wipe my ass, and I don't even bother to spray the turd down the hole because I was like, dude, this is an American goddamn masterpiece with some toilet paper on it. You guys soak me in. And I go by the sink, dude, and it's like the soap is the dirtiest. It was like, dude, you could tell it was like white soap. It was just like
Used.
brown. Yeah. And I was like, dude, I'm not touching that shit. Like I will go and eat a 5-course meal with like a turd hand before I touch that fucking soap. But yeah, dude, like quite literally a cup of water, cup your hand, make water, and then just splash it up your asshole.
Not for me.
It's like a manual bidet.
Yeah,
It's
that's exactly what it
disgusting.
is. You guys didn't have wag bags?
No, no, well, dude, it was a flyaway mission. It was for
That's right.
Blackwater. So we were
Gotcha.
there for literally I don't know. We didn't even stay the night. We just went up there for a quick conference and then came back down into Blackhawks. But yeah, it was
That's
like,
dope.
dude, I was like, I mean, you got to have a toilet. Why wouldn't you have toilet paper? And then these Navy SEAL guys, they were protecting Talibani, who was at the meeting. And these guys like, what do you guys do? We're like, well, we work for Blackwater. And they're like, oh, dude, we totally want to do that, man. Let me do it. Like, they're our best friends. All of a sudden, I was like, dude, I'm an Air Force guy. And these guys are acting like I'm cool. Um, and then they're like, I gave my email address. I was like, reach out. They got home and they were like, I don't want to work for Blackwater that bad. Because here's the
Yeah,
thing. I mean, dude, you're in the contracting world. The day that that contract ends, the day that you stepped out or I stepped out of Iraq, no fucking money, no benefits, no healthcare, no BAH, all that shit that you get when you're stateside, but
disappears. Yeah,
doing nothing is
yeah,
gonzo.
yep.
So I had a lot of military guys that were like, I want to do it. And I was like, that's fine. Like, I'll hook you up. But as soon as they got back, they were like, oh, now I have like the next year to 18 months before I get on another pump, where I'm getting paid to like not be in combat.
While we're on this subject, why don't you give a little advice real quick, dude? Because there are a lot of vets getting out that are getting right into contracting. There's a lot of gigs going on right now. So if you were to talk to them, what would be some advice you would give them, man? What are some things they need to pay attention with, and what should they be aware of?
Man, first off, dude, anybody that asks me like how do I get into contracting, I say don't do it for the most part.
Of course.
Because dude, dude, it's a young man, single man's game, right? At the end of the day, if you have
Lonely.
a family or you
Yeah,
want
exactly.
any kind of semblance of a normal life, don't get into contracting because the
That's
day
real.
you get home is the
Yeah,
day you fucking stop getting paid, right?
facts.
So yeah, dude, and everybody would say, "Oh, I'm going to make all this money. I'm going to pay off my house, and then I'm not coming back." They all came back, dude. Every
Yeah,
single one of them,
goes
right?
quick. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you are going to go contract, get a liability policy, like any kind of liability policy for 2 million bucks. Because here's what we noticed happened, and it happened over time. As a contractor, you had the State Department that subcontracted with Blackwater that could subcontract with like me, which was my company, White Thunder LLC. Fucking A, dude. That was it.
There you go.
But then I was the only employee, right? So there's 4 degrees of separation. I swear to God, that was the name of my LLC.
That's hilarious.
um, I was gonna call it Leverette Erections, but they fucking declined it. So they picked the
Of
second
course
one,
they
which was
did.
White Thunder.
White Thunder.
So dude, if something bad happens, the State Department is not going to be the ones that take the fall. They're going to say, "Oh, that's the bad Blackwater people." They're going to say, "Oh no, that was White Thunder. Oh no, that was Morgan." And Morgan is going to be the guy that is going to get his ass handed to him. And you saw that with the Raven 23
Yep,
guys,
you're right.
where they do no due process, no evidence gathering, no chain of custody, nothing.
Ridiculous. Yeah.
They got to go to prison. So dude, there's a reason why you're getting paid that much. And it's because there's a lot of liability, and if anything bad happens, it's gonna come on you. Like
Simulated. Yeah.
we got the contractors down at the US Mexico border that are moving kids. The New York Post just picked this up. I talked about this fucking
Yep.
like 8-10 months ago now. If one of those kids, and you're seeing it, these kids are being moved and they're going to a nonprofit and then they're being sold into sex trafficking. Now, once they find these kids, who are they going to blame? Dude, Alejandro Mayorga, whatever the fuck his name is, not going to take the blame. Homeland Security is not going to take the blame. It's not going to be MVM.
Yeah, you're right.
MVM subcontracts with another one. I can't remember. I think it's like Ares or something, Arios. And then it's you, dude. They're going to fucking throw you under the bus. You are a single serve Starbucks coffee cup.
You're right.
And they could drink all the coffee or they could drink half of it. Either way, they're going to throw the fucking cup away if they don't need it anymore. So
Well said. Well said.
if you want to go in, after you've got your liability policy, here's some things to look out for, dude. If they're not giving you gear, they are a shit PMC. I've had people say, "Oh, I had this PMC, but they want me to bring my own kit." Look, they better furnish you with kit, because if they're skimping at the beginning, they're not putting you in like the best situation anyway. If you can't get your foot into the door, here's the problem. When I got in, I was like one of the few people that had been to Iraq and back, right? Now you have 20 years of veterans that have spent time overseas that are also getting into the PMC gig. You're swimming with sharks, man. So if you were just like a
Yeah, you're
straight
right.
infantry guy,
You're right.
like if you need to get your foot in the door, go do a static gig and just start fucking being friends with people because those people will get you a better gig going
All about
forward.
relationships, right? Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
And dude, just the basic shit. Don't be fucking fat. Be able to PT,
Be
be able
squared
to
away.
like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, just, and don't go in there shooting your mouth off, man. Nobody likes the guy that comes in. I don't care if you were a Navy SEAL or not. Like, we made shit up at Blackwater. And when you came in and you were like, well, we did it this way, we did that. No, you didn't, dude, because nobody's
No.
done this. So shut the fuck up and
Yep, you're
learn
right.
and just
You're
fuck
right.
like, dude, swallow your ego, swallow your pride.
Yeah.
And if you
A lot
can't,
of guys have problems with that, dude.
oh, dude, it's crazy.
And you're right, dude. You are always being watched. It's real. Honestly, be careful who you make friends with. Seriously, and everyone's not your friend in that gig. And jealousy is huge, and you wouldn't think it because you always think that vets and operators, guys in our demo, we're so friendly and we're family. It's not like that. It really is not. Fucking, I learned that the hard way, dude. Egos are a real thing in this, and people are just worried about the individual. That's just what it is, and you need to take care of yourself. You have no one else going to do it, and you're right. It was well said, man.
Yeah. And when you deploy, dude, take go fucking buy a Tempur-Pedic pillow
Good
and buy
call.
books. I mean, buy my book, of course, but buy books to read and shit. Because you would be shocked how much downtime there is,
Yeah,
right? Like,
exactly.
like you were in Afghanistan, like
Yeah, you're
Iraq's
right.
the
It's
same
not
way.
always like that. Yep.
You got a ton of downtime.
Yep.
Start taking college classes. We had
You're
some
right.
guy that was like learning Arabic, and he ended up going to Harvard
No way.
after he got done. Yeah, dude. And I was like, fucking loser, learning how to do Arabic, and now he's all like with his Harvard degree and shit.
Doing
So
great.
yeah, dude. Yeah, like take the time with all that downtime, better yourself somehow.
Utilize it.
I didn't, dude. I was like, I'm buying a Land Rover, and
No shit.
I'm gonna be able to do more push-ups than that guy. I'm like, dude, nobody gives a
All the
fuck.
dumb shit, right? Yeah, I did the same
Yeah.
thing, dude. I hear you. So, what was it like for you when you got out, man? What was it like at first? I mean, because for me, dude, I had a rough spell, dude. It was difficult for me, and I didn't really believe in like PTSD or anything like that. And I kind of got raised into the Marine Corps that you fucking you don't tell anyone your problems. If you're hurting, go fucking drink and take care of it in a corner where no one can see you, and be that stoic, strong type. And when you really have some stuff, it'll creep up on you if you don't address it. Did you ever deal with anything like that? Any mental health stuff?
Yeah, dude, when I got done with Blackwater, it was like January '06. I started going to college. I had like, PTSD symptoms, but nobody called it that because nobody knew what it was back then.
Exactly. Yep.
I remember there was this kid. I was at the community college and I was like, apparently I didn't stop at a stop sign. And this kid goes over there and writes me a $10 ticket. It's 10 fucking dollars, dude. Who gives a shit, right? I see him writing me this ticket. I go back over there and I threaten to kill him. Like literally tell him I'm going to fucking strangle him with my bare hands. I'm going to kill him. This doesn't make any sense, dude. There's no logic to it, right? So the next day when I was in my sociology 103 class, whatever the fuck it was, the cops come in and they drag me out of there and they're like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Morgan
And I
to
was
the
like,
office.
yeah, I do pretty much, except the cop actually came into the
No
fucking
way.
thing.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
And I
Oh
was like, dude, I
shit.
just got back from Iraq. Like, I'm high strung. I don't know what the fuck's going on. And he's like, you're an idiot. And I was like, dude, I know. Like, I apologize.
Isn't that the best when you fucking have someone that like when you get into like a little trouble incident and they're like kind of like a vet or an operator and they're like, you're just being a dumbass, man. Like you kind of reason with them, just take it easy. Yeah, no problem, no problem. Thanks, appreciate it. Been in a
yeah.
few of those.
Yeah, and then the next day I got a ticket for parking too close to it. No, I'm just fucking with you. But dude, like as a contractor, here's the other thing that nobody's gonna tell you. As a contractor, there's no VA, right?
Mm,
There's no fallback. Blackwater literally has like a nonprofit that is dumb. And it has a Facebook page where if you worked under the bear paw, like that's your reach out.
that's it. Damn.
That's it, dude. So I can't tell you. Okay, so let me rephrase that because I don't want to say it that bad, but I've had more people that I worked with in Blackwater that committed suicide than
Hmm.
I ever had as military members because they don't know where to turn. The contract's dried up. They're on their third marriage. They owe the IRS. Pay your fucking taxes. That's the other thing I gotta say.
Bam,
Pay your
bam.
taxes.
Yeah, good call.
Um, you are not overseas and tax
Yeah,
free. I
yeah.
promise. Um,
Facts.
Right. So they owe like, $200,000 in back taxes. They shambles of their life. Their kids won't
What
talk to
do I
them.
do now? Yeah, exactly.
Dude, they end up fucking, chowing a bullet, and it's a
Of course.
bummer. But dude, there is no outlet for you, right?
Yeah,
As
you're
as
right.
a as a contractor. So this is my one consternation. One is the legal part of it, like who's actually going to be held liable. It's going to be you, but what laws do you fall under? And the second is you can't keep putting contractors in combat zones, getting these internal and external scars of war, and then being able to say like, oh, we don't have to take care of them long term. Like, dude, people are fucking killing themselves with families,
Facts.
and dude, I I,
Facts.
I know these people, and
Hmm.
it fucking bums me out, man. So when, dude, I
It's
mean,
hard.
I could really dig into it, but like, it just sucks, man. There's
I
no
know it
fucking
does.
VA.
I know it does. I hear you, dude. It's not an easy topic to talk about, dude. And honestly, because when you see your friends that went on the same things that you went on, killing themselves, dude, you start to really look at yourself, man. It's not a fun, not to make it selfish like that, but it's just not something fun to look at for us, dude, because it's a real thing. And a lot of my guys, I can't tell you how many people, more people have died being out of the military in that funk zone, not knowing what to do, all their life falling apart, and they're eating a bullet, dude. And it's just rampant right now, man.
Well, dude, and alcohol has a
Oh
huge,
yeah,
huge,
does
like,
not help. Yeah,
yeah. So, dude, I just got sober like 5.5 months
good
ago,
for you, man.
for the first time in my life, and it just cleared my head. But
You feel better,
like,
honestly.
dude, I do like the first month or so. Yeah,
Boring.
like you kind of you have a lot more free time. Like you feel like you have more free time because you're just not getting drunk every night.
Yeah.
And then after a while, like you just kind of get into this new normal, and you're like, oh, dude, I remember when I didn't drink every night, like, before I joined up or whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, yeah.
So, dude, if you're having any problems with any of that stuff, dude, drinking is not going to help. Fucking reach out. Like
You're right.
I belong to this secret society of anonymous people that drink. Um, but dude, it actually fucking works. Like
Yeah,
there's a reason why it's still around. Here's the other thing. So if you're a former contractor, you spend any time overseas, there's something called a Defense Base Act. The Defense Base Act essentially is when the Merchant Marines in World War II, I'm going to give you a whole history and shit because I
please
like
do.
it.
Please do.
Um, the Merchant Marines are getting chowed down in World War II by the Nazis, dude, just getting fucked up, and they were dying. So the US government said, hey, if you're going to send civilians into combat zones, you have to have life insurance policies on these guys.
Oh, gotcha.
So if it's injury, it's life insurance. It's essentially like, I don't know, what's that? Workers' comp, right? Is what it
Gotcha.
is. Now, the Defense Base Act, somebody had a policy on you when you were overseas in Iraq or Afghanistan or something. And I got lawyers. They put me through the process. It takes like 18 months. It's $105,000 tax free. And you can go in and you can say, look, if you chopped your finger off, you get money for it. You got PTSD, any of those
Wow.
other things. And what they do is they're just trying to pay out that insurance policy so that they're no longer going to be liable for your
Of
medical
course.
throughout the rest of your life. So, I mean, dude, Nick, if you've heard of anybody that's a former PMC or is still doing it, I mean, put them in contact with me. I'll put them in contact
For
with my
sure.
lawyers. I don't
For
make any
sure.
fucking money on it. I just want to like do good by people.
No, I hear you. I hear you. Absolutely. Appreciate that, man. You need more people like that, man, because if you don't have a VA, dude, you got to share that shit, man. That's not something that people tell you. I hear you.
Yeah, it
Well,
wasn't on my contract when I signed the Blackwater thing, and it's in the book. It's like you could die from, and it was like a musical. Motors are
yeah,
rockets, a
exactly.
helicopter falls, like all this shit, right? Like all the things you could die.
Dysentery.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then at the end, it's like sign here, and I was like,
Yeah.
welcome to Blackwater.
Yeah, exactly. Here's your M4.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, all right, man. Well, uh, that's really I really wanted to hear how that experience was for you, man, because honestly, Blackwater is so just, for us, for us guys on the ground, man, Blackwater is legendary, man. Like you guys were over there and you were doing your thing and you were like the first real contracting team that was doing the damn thing over there on a grand scale. And it showed. It really did. And just being from that elk, man, I mean, you must think about it all the time, dude, because coming from it's hard when you live a life like that at 90 miles an hour and you just come back to reality and you're, now in second gear. And sometimes it feels like it never even happened, dude. You know what I mean?
Dude, it's when I tell people I worked for Blackwater, everybody's like, "Oh, that's why you don't get all crazy about stupid stuff at work." I was like, "Yeah, like it's not that big of a deal, I promise."
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, well, where can my followers find you, bro?
Track me down. I'm at Blackwater Dude on Instagram. I'm on X at Blackwater Dude 1. I'm on TikTok if you guys want to see my nipples. Got shaking my titties around.
Nice,
Oh,
nice.
yeah, or I mean, you could get the book on Amazon. I'm not hard to track down. Like seriously, if you guys have questions about contracting, I mean, Nick could probably hook you up just as much. But the
Definitely
DBA
send them your
stuff,
way.
yeah,
Cool.
happy to talk to you guys about that. And I would
Sweet.
do Jay Moore actually read Jay Moore the comedian. He
Yep.
read the audio for the book. So if you guys don't
Oh,
like to
really?
read, yeah, yeah,
That dude's
he's a good.
hilarious.
Jay
I like
Moore's
that
the
dude.
guy that got me sober. That fucker.
No shit.
Yeah.
Do you know you're like
When he
you're friends with him like that?
and me like alcoholic. He was on the phone with all these AA guys. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I am now, now that I'm sober.
You know?
But yeah, like he just straight up called me out on it, and I was like, nah, and I lied. And then I drove all the way back from California to Arizona thinking about it, and I was like,
Stuck
fuck,
on your
dude.
mind. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like this little woodpecker pecking at
Yeah,
me, and
I
I was
know
like,
exactly what you're talking about.
I gotta get sober. So
It's not easy, dude. Trust me, I've been there. It's fucking, yeah. And when someone calls you on it, dude, it just sits when you like blatantly lie about it, and then you just it sits in your head like, oh yeah, maybe he's right, you know?
oh, dude, here's the best story. Like he had no idea. He's just an Alcoholics Anonymous, like great dude. Um, I was in his car and he's like, yeah, I was and he's told this story, so he's not gonna get pissed, but he's like, yeah, he's a wrestling coach, and he's like, yeah, I was wrestling and this guy throws me and all my pills are flying out, and they're like, oh, Coach Jay, your pills came out, and I stopped him and was like, oh yeah, that's my heart medication. And he's like, did I tell you this story? And I was like, no. And he's like, that's exactly what I said. I said it was my
That's
heart medication. And I was like, fuck, dude. Like that's how you know you're an addict, is when
it's a
you can sit
go-to.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can like tell the story before the guy even tells it to you. So
Yep.
yeah, I got
Yeah.
sober like 2 days later, man. It's fucking awesome.
How so this was this year then?
Yeah, this was late January.
Gotcha. Okay. So, dude, well, hey, fucking A, I'm happy for you. Look good, dude. The book's doing good. I appreciate you coming by the show, man. Thanks for talking with me. And you heard it, Blackwater Dude on Instagram. He's on X. Hopefully we get to have another conversation, man. And yeah, I appreciate it, brother.
Ah, thanks, Nick, dude. Hope you. I know you're up in Boston, and I fucking hate that place, but you're all right.
Appreciate that, brother. We'll link at some point and argue over sports and have a non-alcoholic beverage, you know.
Oh yeah, that's fair. Oh yeah, the Patriots versus the Cardinals. Yeah, yeah, the Red Sox versus
Dude, I
the
don't know if you saw him
Diamondbacks.
recently, dude. They're looking rough.
Oh yeah, you had one bad year. Oh, I feel terrible.
Sweet, dude. Well, Morgan, I appreciate it, brother. We will talk soon. Have a good night. Semper Fi.
Take it easy, man.
All right, man.